Hello, so this video is just creating community in Chicago and just talking about that more at length. So for starters, I originally made a meetup in the city that is now approaching 1,000 people now. And that really started with me just being like, oh, where do like nerdy people hang out in Chicago? And I just wanted to create a space where I was able to find somewhere people like that, and it has since grown then. And that would be really funny, but that's not how it works simply. So that would be a starters. Like I started where we just tried out a different restaurant in the city and try to do different foodie type things. But I think I want to make it more approachable for people who might not be able to afford just like every other week trying a new restaurant or on a regular cadence. I tried to eventually build it out to do, I have a bit of notes right here, but what I eventually built out was one where we did a screening more on a seasonal basis where we screen shows at the local library, having more of a partnership with them. Another seasonal one is we did a picnic / potluck type thing on a seasonal basis as weather allowed for, and in more of the winter months, as I am looking into that, is more like an indoors type venue. Another one we did is more of an arcade night where it's pretty much like a drop-in. You just hang out with new folks and just get to know different people at end of day. And another outlet would be just bringing your own book to a new setting and trying out different coffee shops within the city while doing so. So different ones I outlined, I'd say I don't really have like specific framework for this, but I just want to make just really fun events within through the city, and being able to support that through just different types of things and activities. And this has been really rewarding to me as it's allowed me to just make new friends in the city and hopefully allow people to also do so. I'm trying to think from here. I think from that point forward, it wasn't just like, oh, I thought of doing this immediately, just like have all these different like monthly regular cadence events. It started initially with just like a food related one, another food related one, a movie, different ones here and there, and gradually progressed to have these as more like the mainstay ones all together. In terms of building a community, I tried to also look at it under different lenses, like aside from the meetup or the Eventbrite, eventually chose the meetup app because it's more accessible. I tried to make it so that there's a supporting Discord, there's a WhatsApp, and just make it so that there's communication channels for people who want to connect after the fact. And it's not that meetup or these different platforms don't allow for it already, it's that you just have to be really deliberate when you hit it off really well with someone. Just ask for contact or swap contacts, which one way or another. And with just like Discord or WhatsApp or different type outlets, it allows people to just like connect after the fact and just make it so that it's a mutual thing, so that there's that level of respect and safety when we create these different type communities. Moving forward with that, I also made it so that communities have a bit more leaning towards more of the safety and privacy part of it. The safety part of it, I made it so that I try to curate more like a guys group, and in addition have an ally who can support the girls group, being a woman who's able to do that as well. And I've been able to say that we have both these groups being able to independently function in terms of making it so that it's a safe space, so someone can be like, oh, I want to try out XYZ restaurant, would people want to do that? And have it be in a safe space for if people want to do like a guys night or girls night and have those respective spaces. Also branch out into different ones, say such as broadly like food and broadly outside. With food, it would be just that same concept, but just trying out different restaurants, or say food festivals or different things throughout the city, to which I've been able to do success. And for outside, it ranges from like similar festivals, say like Renaissance Fair or Six Flags or different things altogether, to which we've done, say, Six Flags a handful of times now, did the Fright Fest, and we'll definitely be back next year. I think those are different outlets you're able to do to build this community type thing. I think another thing to consider when building communities, it's not just like, oh, I did all these things and then it suddenly worked out. Because that's just not how it goes sometimes. You have to be, even if you're really deliberate and you put all the pieces together, it's not always like an immediate thing. I have the bias that I live in a large metropolitan city where there's a bunch of 20-something, 30-somethings that are in my age bracket where do like fun things here and there. But that might not always be the case for people, and I want to acknowledge that bias when moving forward in the video. Try and think what else there is with this. I think with this, it's that once you curate and create a space where you have it so that people come every once in a while, you'll eventually have like regulars and different people who you'll grow to have a bit more of a community, and there'll be these regular attenders where you get to match familiar faces to names and be able to just like hang out offline, in addition to making it so that it's a good space for people, whether they are a regular or just someone who might be dropping in for the first time. I think this connects with, I'd say for all these are just like loosely translated thoughts that I've been just like talking about here and there. I think another part of it is just making sure that it is friendly, just to making it so that it's friendly to, in this case, it's around more media in terms of like anime as a whole, making it so that it's friendly to someone who's more like an old head to the medium in terms of, say, they've had like decades of following in a space, versus someone who might be completely new, say they just watched, say, using anime as a reference, like Attack on Titan or JJK or a different one, making it a friendly space for people who have those decades of watched experience versus someone who might be entirely new to a medium, and not being afraid to put yourself out there as a host and be like, oh hey, this person's new, I want to introduce you to this other person who's been a part of a group for a while, and not being afraid to do that. I think for that, it's definitely having to step out of my comfort zone and having to just shake a lot of hands, make a bunch of introductions, but also just making sure that people feel safe in this space. But it's been really rewarding to be able to do so and to have hosted a bunch of things, such as, say, like a picnic or Halloween party or all these different things. These have been really rewarding to me, and I'm glad that I was able to take this on. I know for me, it's just still learning altogether in terms of how you make it a safe space and how you keep carrying this. But I think the takeaway for me has been, I just created something that I wanted to see in the city, and I did my best foot forward in terms of creating a space, having regular events, and hope that people pull through. I think only other note I wanted to add would be more just like how you get people to these different things. When I lived in New York City, I had thought of like, what if you put like flyers up at like local coffee shops or like different busy intersections. I really entertained that thought. I don't think that would have been the best, but I think it's like you put it up at where you'd naturally want to meet people, in terms of, say, those coffee shops or different things of people who might be interested in different things, and hope that things might have worked out. I'd say for Eventbrite and Meetup and different things, there are also different outlets such as Facebook in terms of different type of events. You just go to a different event or just join local groups that have these different curated events. And I think all of this is easier said than done, but it's been such a rewarding process through creating different groups in the city, while creating the group in the city and being able to have it come to this point in terms of growth. And it's been really great to have all these friends I made along the way, and just being in a better space than I was a year prior from this. I'll leave it here, but thanks so much for listening, and as always, don't forget to be awesome.